Today I'm going to talk about 12 different, very weird things that can happen after a Kundalini awakening that can make you question yourself, make you overwhelmed. It might make you suicidal. It's going to be different for everyone, and maybe you are going to experience something that is not in the list. The reason behind this video is exactly this overwhelm and disorientation in this reality. So from this video, you won't feel alone and you can identify certain things that you might experience. And also on the other hand, it can kind of give you an idea how to see things differently. So it can give you an inspiration. I had my very first Kundalini awakening more than 4 years ago. It's nearly now 4.5. And I had other Kundalini awakenings that I followed with brain scans. And I had mystical experiences and sudden shifts as well that I'm going to share in this video, all followed by brain scans so I could understand what is happening. I also have done a lot of research that is quite scientific to get to a deeper understanding of what is really happening so I could ground myself. And in this video, I am going to share these findings alongside with my experiences so you do not feel alone. And you might also get an inspiration to go deeper in your journey, because sometimes these experiences can actually act as a roadblock and maybe you close up and you stop on your journey. So first, I'm just going to very quickly explain what a Kundalini awakening is, because if you look into spirituality, they talk about snakes walking around you and integrating. But in reality, it's actually your unconscious. So there are 3 levels within you: the unconscious or the reptile system, the subconscious or the mammalian system, the attachment system, the emotions, and then the last one is the primate level or the conscious level. This is the cognition and this is the group thinking. And these 3 systems work very, very differently. They have different needs, different desires, and they sense things in a very different way. And they also process things very, very differently. And they actually block and reinforce each other. And these are energies. And when you actually connect some of them together, this is my understanding, that's when you actually have a Kundalini awakening. And also especially when you connect until the unconscious level, and this middle part of you is going to fire up. This is your Kundalini line, and this is the unconscious. This is where the delta brain waves are. So when you have a lot of experiences, you are going to feel that. So I'm talking about experiences that I had. Like, you can really get inside this part and you can feel different energies within. But in reality, these are connections to other versions of you in the universe, and also information that is outside of this reality. So let's get into it. So the very first one, and it's going to be very common, is extreme anxiety. You can feel it in your body like stress, or you feel like you might get a heart attack, and extreme overwhelm in the head. And what really happens is it's actually more energy gets channeled into you because these inner blocks or inner locks get connected, which means that you are able to access more energies, but your mind cannot understand what is happening. So you just feel more energies bursting in your body. And because the mind and the body works in a way that they must overcorrect, when there is more energy in your body, you actually get connected to a higher awareness system that tries to process what is happening. And this is what you feel as overwhelm. these are higher brain waves. We actually measured it in brain scan. So the lowest part, low delta, that's the lowest, is going to fire up, and at the same time high beta and gamma is going to fire up. So the lowest and the highest, and when you get more energy, just imagine you need more patterns, because the body is the internal self, that's the energetic system, and the head is the pattern recognition, pattern system, or external self. And when they connect, that's when you can actually see these very amazing looking patterns, that you see these energies in a pattern, and this is when they actually connect, when they synchronize. And if you have this experience, the only thing you can do is you calm yourself down. So you try to ground yourself, because if you start thinking what is happening, you actually put yourself into more anxiety. That's me. That was me so much. But now looking back, I know what to do. So when this happens, you have to actually consciously calm your nervous system down, because now you know what is happening. Back then I didn't know that. And what you can do is you connect with your unconscious. You cannot tell your unconscious to calm down, but you are able to pretend how it feels like when you are calm. So you start breathing really slow and really deep, so you connect with the rest and digest part of your nervous system, and that is going to calm you. And actually when you are calmer, your head is going to clear as well, and that's when you can kind of think and process. And what the way you should do is that you take a piece of paper, and then you write down what you feel, how you feel, and really channel, because this is the energetic system. These are the emotions, impulses that are coming up. And if you can channel that's when you actually get connected to your head, so you will know what is happening. And because there is more energy there, you can actually get impulses that you didn't have before, or certain obsessions that you didn't have before. So just write it down, channel it out. So this is how you connect this body part, the extra energies, to the head, to the patterns that you identify. They even call it in child development, in interpersonal neurobiology, that name it to tame it. It means that if you can name the emotion, the feeling, whatever is coming up, that's how you are able to calm yourself down. That's when this overwhelm is going away. This first part can actually feel like going through a psychosis as well. There's very highs, very lows, and all of these emotions at once. It kind of feels like you are in a teeny tiny little boat in the middle of the ocean, and these huge waves are coming and they're bashing you. The second one is channeling, and especially channeling information. And it kind of feels like that you get algorithms in your head, or it feels like a zip file hits your head and it opens up and it makes sense. It's really weird. It kind of feels like someone is hacking your mind, and it can be also very damaging, because it's not something that you read about, hear about, or people would talk about. Like, just imagine if everyone would have these experiences, it would be normal. And also the channeling, if you connected the body to the head, it's going to come from the top of your head, and you will feel migraines. So it can start as a migraine. What I did, because this is how I started to channel, that I felt this extreme, really, I don't have headaches, so that's why it was weird. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to just ask questions, because by the time I was talking to my true self, that I believed it was my subconscious, and I started to talk actually because I felt like it's an extortion from my subconscious. And if I talk and if I ask questions, this whole experience is going to go away. So for me, this Kundalini awakening, anything after happened, the Kundalini awakening, for I would say most of the time, it was more unpleasant than pleasant, because I didn't feel normal and I felt very disconnected from reality, because these don't happen to people, or if they happen, it's just a very few people. And for me, that was really awful, a very awful experience, in a sense. So this is what I did, that I started to talk, and this is when I felt that the information was coming in, and it actually really hurt. So this one really, really hurt. It's like the extension of this Kundalini line, and the information is coming in. So you can feel that it feels like some metal. So really, really rigid something is coming through your head, and it goes all the way in. And for me, it stopped in the heart, and that's how I got the information. And also many times it's just like things were just popping out of my head. It's like my brain was working on its own, and really, really high quality patterns came out of nowhere. And it really made me question, like, who is me now? Is it me? Is my mind? What was happening? So that can be, again, very, very disorienting, because you are losing yourself, and it can feel as you are losing your mind. The third one is going to be changed senses. So the changed senses can be, especially after the experience, when you get connected to lower brainwaves, the senses change, but then they kind of go back, or they go back very close to how you used to be. So my very first one is that during the Kundalini awakening, I could see my aura. It was glowing, it looked really good, and like my senses really changed during that experience. But after the Kundalini awakening, I can only see the aura, but I don't see that glowing thing anymore, but I still do see my aura. And I got connected. I did a past life regression, so it wasn't automatic. I did a past life regression, and I got connected to a past life automatically. Like, my internal experience was that I cannot let it go. I cannot let it go. And that's when I actually got it lots of anxiety that I explained in the first one, that and my senses became heightened. And I remember that's when I was seeing a therapist, and I thought he gave me something that made me crazy, but those were just minerals, so it wasn't that. And even when I stopped taking the minerals like magnesium and all of these things, this didn't go away. So it was from that past life regression when I got connected to extra energies. And the main thing here is the extra energies, that when you have more energy in your system, that actually can really change how you perceive reality. And one thing was that I could sense the aura of things and aura of trees. So I got connected more to, I would say, like plants and stuff like that. Like, I could talk to plants. That was weird. And they answered me things that I didn't think of. I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. And also when I put my hand on trees, they felt like horses, or not just horse, like any type of animal, but they felt alive. Then another thing that I've seen, this is again senses, that I could see this lining the fabric of reality, and I've seen the same thing in humans, and I've seen the exact same pattern in the trees as well. And there were other weird things as well with senses, but I'm just saying that it can happen, and it shifted. Like, I had one type of thing for 3-4 days, and I had a different one, and then a different one, and they kept changing. And then for me it went away, because it was just connecting to extra energies, but it wasn't an integration, it wasn't an integrated energy. But with sensing, this was something that I didn't pay attention to, because I got used to, like, I only had twice that I know what a twin flame connection is and how you can actually sense it. It's actually your body part, the attachment system or the mammalian system that is underneath your cognition, and that's why it's faster and it's more rigid, connects. And I could actually like identify the like what was happening. But this is actually my senses one level below, which is the unconscious, which is the Kundalini line, became sensitive to other people, just one person, and I could sense his energy is moving in him, and when something resonated. And also I got visions sometimes, and the weird thing is I never really paid attention to it until I got really pushed further away. So if you sense these kind of things in one specific person, it means that the person is going to be your exact opposite, and you are actually mirroring at the unconscious level, which is the deepest level. And that's going to be different from a twin flame who can mirror you on the subconscious level. That's the emotional, and this unconscious is like the deepest part that we are or can be aware of in this reality. And it's like a very huge opposition. The fourth one is going to be visions, especially lifelike visions and lifelike dreams, when you cannot really make a difference between reality and what the dream is, and you can kind of feel that you are going crazy. Like I had to take a piece of paper and write it on the paper that this is reality, because they were just so intense. But when I got connected to Carl Jung, I'm going to talk about this later, who also had a Kundalini awakening, he actually said that this was his awakening, that he had very lifelike visions and dreams. And it actually comes when you connect the head down to the body. So he did actually the opposite of that. So the head connected to the body, to the emotions, and mine was the opposite, that the body got connected up. So I got the patterns, words, and all of these algorithms. The fifth one is going to be that your third eye is going to open. And the third eye is not a made-up thing. I did research about it. You can look up the word of Dr. Dan Siegel. He talks about neurobiology, and he talks about the third eye, that it's like the deepest empathy we can have, and it really connects us to others mind maps. This is when the nervous system is going to be very integrated. That's why it's interpersonal neurobiology, and it allows to understand others mentally and also emotionally, so we can really read deeply. And from my channelings, it came to me as well that this is what we are going towards to, and it's actually telepathy. So this is a different type of communication, and this is where the third eye is, and I got connected to it. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. And it actually has two parts, because I could feel both. This one is the invert part. This is when I was talking to past life people from past lives. I'm going to talk about it as well later, but this part really warms up, and this is where I saw visions, and I can feel like this warming energetic line going within me, and it stops in the heart, and it really connects to the heart, and I see visions, I can communicate. And it's not really the vision and the communication, it's that channeling the emotions from the past, and you can really physically feel everything like as it is, or it is happening as of now. And the second part of it is going to be about here, and it goes outside like this. This is the external. So this goes inward, this goes externally. And this got really triggered when I actually started to communicate and connect to Carl Jung, who wasn't in my past life. So I'm not really sure what this means. So I think these are people who I was energetically connected to in other words, because past lives are actually, this is from Carl Jung, are not past, they are just other versions, and they happen exactly at the same time. And I do believe him because I know that quantum physics says exactly the same thing, that everything happens as of now and time is just an illusion. And I guess this part actually connects to, because it's the extension of the head, to people who are on the same awareness level. This is my understanding. And in my opinion, when these two parts really integrate and we really integrate, that's when we get into the fourth dimension, and it's going to be like a faster version of communication compared to what I am doing now, because change is going to speed up. This is what I see that this is going to happen, that we will be able to change and integrate faster and faster, and it is going to require some sort of a system that can communicate to multiple people exactly at the same time. And the sixth one is going to be what I mentioned. It's that you can connect to your past lives. You can connect to people you lived together with. And these are actually your other versions that happen as of now. You are just aware of it in a way that it was in the past. But that means that those are more rigid in you. And you can really channel your own emotions and actually their emotions, that your decisions, what you did, how it affected them. So you can feel it and see it like as it is happening as of now. Like I had many visions with my daughter, and it kept coming up, and it really overwhelmed me. I had a very difficult, I would say, nearly 1 year with that time, and also re-experiencing the death of my husband from past life, like it was in the past life, and that grief every single night. That was probably the most awful feeling I have ever had, and it channels from the heart, and it feels like it's coming from beneath that, or it's like it's coming from like a black hole, like from such a deep part of you that you don't even know where the hell it's coming from, but it channels through your heart, and you feel it in this Kundalini part everywhere, and all you have, it's that pain. And either you feel your own pain and grief and you keep reliving, or you feel their pain. It's something that, yeah, you don't want to experience for too long. And how to overcome it, because I actually overcame it. One of the things I did a past life regression with a therapist to resolve the issue with my daughter, because I was communicating with her and I had to forgive myself. That was one thing, but maybe for you it's going to be different. But the past life regression took me to that past life, and that actually helped me. And with the grief, it's like you will get your memories back, and it's again like you feel sorry what you have done, and you would want to do it differently. So basically this is what you feel, but it takes such a long time to realize. But when you realize it makes sense. And what I did, that I reimagined the same situation. So I really vividly recalled it, and I created a new way of my reaction. So if I could go back, how would I have acted, or what would I have said exactly in that situation? So basically what I have done, I created a new version of me in the past, basically, and I kept imagining the same thing over and over and over and over to rewrite what I have been doing. Because in reality, you have to understand that it just comes up as this is the most probable thing, like this is a rigidity within you, and this way you add another option, so you increase the probability, because these things that you haven't resolved and they are very deep within you, they are still in you, in this version of you as well. You are just not aware of it. So when you do all of these mystical experiences, past life regressions, you just go deeper within yourself and you become aware of reactions and ways of dealing things that you are not aware of as of now, because they are too deep. The seventh one is going to be that you are able to connect to your true self. And your true self is actually, if you ask your true self, every single life you ever lived and every single life you will ever live. And it's in your unconscious. These are your other versions that exist at once with you, but you see it in your awareness system as past and present, and you are just a part of this big true self. The true self is not a part of you. That's a bigger version of you, or some people would call it a higher self probably. The eighth one is mystical experiences, and I just want to add something. So it didn't happen to me in a way that, okay, I had one Kundalini awakening and I was just waiting around and all of this happened to me. So I kept doing a lot of inner work, research, asking questions from myself. I got a lot of help from my true self. I got a lot of help from my husband and my daughter from past life. So I kept working on myself. So I had the Kundalini awakening nearly 4.5 years ago, but I've been really working on myself and trying to see deeper and deeper and deeper, and trying different things, how to resolve my pain, how to resolve these new issues, how to see things differently. So it's not that it happened and all of these are just happening out of nowhere. So I put a lot of effort into it. And this is also with the mystical experiences, that always when I realize something or I try to see something differently, that's when I had them, that I changed my mind, or I looked into myself in a different way, or I allowed certain things to come up that were repressed before, certain things that I haven't seen before, or I have denied in myself that no, this part is not me. The ninth one is going to be the opposite of this, because I said that I did a lot of inner work and that's how I had these experiences. And the ninth one is going to be different. These are automatic changes and they are coming out of nowhere, and it's like a sudden shift within you, that you are very different and your senses become different, or something like you can feel when it happens that, oh my god, something is different. And I actually followed it in brain scan as well, and the brain scan showed exactly the same. Like I felt that I got pushed outside of myself, like from the back of my body to the front, and I was in front of my heart. And this is actually how, from these internal experiences, I actually found, like, this is the polyvagal theory, that I actually got moved from one part of the vagus nerve to the other part. So many of my realizations and research is coming from these experiences, that I try to figure out, okay, where I am within myself, okay, what the brain scan shows, what the science says, what is my experience, what can I channel, what help I get. So it's lots of things, and these are the things I share with others, so you don't have to suffer as much, because you have to go through some suffering, unfortunately, because this is how the body and the mind integrates, that you have to be re-traumatized. But what I'm trying to do is that reduce that traumatic part, so you can integrate really fast. And if these sudden shifts happen to you, what really happens is, because it took me several years to realize, I'm just like, why am I changing? Why am I, what is happening? what happens is that during the Kundalini awakening, because you get connected to this unconscious, you actually get connected to another awareness system that we cannot see, and you actually lose control. So it's a little bit like, as I said, we have these three systems: the unconscious, the subconscious, and the conscious. It's actually one system above, and maybe there is another system below as well, I don't know. But what happens is that as we grow up, if you really think about that, like a baby doesn't think about growing up or controlling anything. It's automatic. We all grow up automatically, and I believe that this is what is happening, that when you integrate your energetic system changes, you get connected to one extra awareness system or maybe two, and they actually gain control over you, and they can change you without you actually really realizing what is happening. And it can be very stressful, but as soon as you realize that, okay, this is what is happening, that is going to calm you down, because you understand what is happening. Because when you are overwhelmed and when you are anxious, it means that you have no idea what the hell is going on, but something is really out of the norm, because the mind and the body really likes repetition and predictability, that things are happening in a certain way, and you understand. And when that gets out of the norm, you get into this cycle that, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what is happening? I don't feel safe, because something is very, very different. So this is what is happening, that you get connected to another system, and you don't know what is happening, but you have to realize that the system doesn't want to murder you. It tries to integrate you, because it's not self-destructive. The 10th one is going to be hormonal changes, and the hormonal changes can happen because this is the Kundalini line, and the Kundalini is your data brainwaves, and it's actually the hormones and neurotransmitters. So that is why you can go through hormonal changes. That is going to be different for everyone depending on gender and age. The 11th one is going to be connecting to other self-aware people, and it's actually in any reality. So for me, the very, very first one was that after the Kundalini awakening, with open eyes, I started to see the Buddha all the time, and I didn't even know what I saw, because I only knew or heard about and seen the Chinese Buddha. I didn't know what I saw, what that was. I didn't know there were two different Buddhas, and the one I've seen was the original one. And I'm just like, why I'm seeing this? I've seen the statue, and I knew that I've seen that before, but I thought it was some Hindu god, to be honest. And when I actually found the picture, because I looked it up on Google, that's when I realized that it was the original Buddha, who was self-aware. And then I've seen, and that was more recent, Carl Jung over and over. I'm just like, why am I seeing him? Like, what is happening? And when I looked into his work and in his life and what he did, and I've seen actually a specific video where he was talking in an interview, and he answered a very specific question, and with his answer, like, it really deeply resonated me, and I'm just like, fuck, this person is self-aware. And that's when I actually, and also what he answered, like, I knew that this is how I would have answered as well. And when I looked into his work, that's when I realized that he was self-aware as well. He had an awakening, and he kept coming back in visions and talking to me, but I didn't give too much thought to it. And then recently I started to take it more seriously and started talking to him, because I really wanted to understand what happened to him, what triggered his awakening, what was his mindset. And he has given me so much information that I have never ever thought of. It's really amazing. So I believe, because he connected on this head level, that the head level connects to it's like an awareness system people who are similar in the awareness system, and then the body is going to be again like on the energetic system we are similar, like in a sense how integrated it is. So it's like integration, how aware, how connected and how disconnected it is, because you can only become aware when you get someone who is different from you. Like two similar people cannot make each other aware, because they are going to agree, so that is going to create a repetition. That's why when lots of people are in the same religion or same spiritual practice and they believe that's what should happen, that everyone becomes the same, they don't really understand, and that's when you get stuck. It's differences are needed in reality, first of all, because reality is about wholeness, and if we go into quantum physics, all probabilities must exist. But if you say it logically, only when you meet differences, that's when you can change, that's when you can see things differently. And the very last one can be also disorientating, that you go within yourself, so you connect to lower brain waves, and it can give a sense. This was when I got inside of this Kundalini line, and it felt like my body didn't feel real, and it felt like I was within a very intense magnetic field, and it felt like that is real and my body is not real, and this reality is not real. So you can get this, what you feel is real, and whatever is outside of you is illusion, it's not real. But in reality, what you really feel is that those are more rigid brain waves. Those are things that you have repeated throughout several lives over and over. And it actually explains why people go with their emotions so much, because the emotions are more rigid as well. So you have thoughts, that's like beta. Underneath you have feelings, that's alpha. Underneath you have emotions, and underneath you have the physical reality. So this is how it becomes lower, and this is how it becomes more rigid. And that's why the more rigid parts actually override the upper parts, in a sense that they feel more real. That's why so many people they just do certain things because they feel that their emotions are real, and they just go along with it, because that really disconnects them from the head. I really hope this video helped you to open up your mind a little bit and give you some guidance. As I said, every single experience is going to be different, because we are all individuals. It just gives you a little bit of different way of saying things that helps you ground yourself, because that is going to be the most important, that you can calm down and you try to see things a little bit in a pattern, that this is okay, this is normal. See you in my next video.